Jimmy, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Everything good?
They're going to play one tune and we'll get underway. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for the presentation of the colors by the FDNY Color Guard.
Detail 10 hush.
Please remain standing for the singing of our national anthem by firefighter Frank Pizarro.
Detail, hand salute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready, two.
Firefighter Frank Pizarro. Please remain standing as FDNY Chaplain Reverend V. Simpson Turner delivers the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Thou, we're grateful for this warm and glorious day where we have sojourned here to the steps of City Hall to honor these heroic persons of the exceptional Fire Department of New York. Today, on this morning in June, we have paused to congratulate those who have shown the intestinal fortitude, makes them examples of the best of humanity. Well, God, we thank Thee for these extraordinary individuals who have at times stared the flames of death in the face and performed some Herculean acts. These humans who are mere mortals, yet were able to perform heroically, So today, O God, we invite your immutable presence, and we're reminded that the FDNY is the premier fire service agency in our nation. O God, these individuals who, in the spirit of the Good Samaritan, where they chose to aid their fellow human being with no regard at times for their own safety. We pray, God, now a special blessing on all who are trying and attempting to keep us safe. Oh God, now the FDNY will be there, no matter what time, no matter where you are. Whether you're on the FDR or the West Side Highway, whether you're in Battery Park or Grant's Tomb, from the Jackie Robinson Parkway to the LIE, from Citi Field to Rockaway Beach, from the BQE to the Belt Parkway, from Yankee Stadium to the Cross Bronx Expressway, from Highland Boulevard to the Staten Island Expressway, the FDNY, when the bell tolls for service, will continue to serve this city which never sleeps and often reminds this city that help is on the way. It is within your magnificent name we ask these blessings. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Simpson. Please retire the colors. Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chief Michael Galla, and it's an honor to serve as the Master of Ceremonies on such a proud day for this department. On behalf of Mayor Bill de Blasio, Fire Commissioner Daniel Nigro, Chief of Department James Leonard, the Fire and EMS staff chiefs, union officials, department executive staff, and our elected officials, I would like to welcome you all to today's FDNY Medal Day ceremonies. A special welcome to all of today's medal winners. You really make us proud. We're also honored to have a number of medal donors as well as families of medal recipients joining us. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, the Mayor of the City of New York, our Mayor, Bill de Blasio.
Thank you so much, Chief. This is the 147th FDNY Medal Day, and that alone should make us proud. So many years recognizing heroes, so many heroes that over the years have answered the call, and there's an unbroken link, almost a century and a half of people who did amazing things in the service of their fellow human being. We are so proud of the FDNY. It makes us proud as New Yorkers. This is one of the things about our city that we talk about with particular emotion and passion. Wherever you go in the world, people know the bravery and the professionalism and the unsurpassed capacity of the FDNY. And people, when they think about the greatness of New York City, think about the FDNY. The two are synonymous. And today we honor some of those who make us particularly proud by taking that history, taking that tradition, and literally taking it to the next level and making it come alive today. The leadership of the FDNY deserves such credit for the way they have built upon these extraordinary traditions and the way they continue to innovate and make this agency even greater. I want to thank Commissioner Dan Nigro, First Deputy Commissioner Robert Turner, Chief of Department Jim Leonard, and all the FDNY leadership present for their amazing service to their city. I want to thank Reverend Turner for his inspiring words. And I want to thank the men who represent all those who keep us safe, the leaders of labor unions present today, Steve Cassidy and Jake LaMonda, Izzy Miranda, Vincent Variali, and John Sullivan. Thank you to all. Now, every day, the men and women of the FDNY do things that everyday New Yorkers couldn't imagine achieving. Every day in the life of the FDNY brings acts of valor and sacrifice. But the 67 people that we recognize today are truly heroes. They have saved lives, they have protected our communities, they've done the extraordinary. And each and every one has an amazing story to tell. And these are the stories that New Yorkers need to hear more often because they inspire us. I'm just going to mention a few. And one that really must be held out is the story of Lieutenant Brian Calori of Ladder Company 174 in East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Lieutenant, you've got a lot to be proud of. Last February, Lieutenant responded to a raging two-alarm fire in Canarsie. And full backup hadn't yet arrived, but Lieutenant Calori didn't hesitate for a moment. He led his team inside, rescued a New Yorker within minutes, bringing him to safety, and turned back and looked at the building and saw that the fire was growing. Literally flames, 27-foot flames were reported shooting out of the windows. Imagine the danger, and imagine the decision the lieutenant had to make. Well, because he is a leader in this FDNY, he made the decision to go back into the building. Inside, he found a collapsed woman. The fire was intensifying. There was no easy way out of the building. So Lieutenant Calori did the only thing left he could do. He used his own body as a shield, praying his gear would hold out and protect them both. Again, I wish every New Yorker could hear these stories because it would tell them just how extraordinary the work of these men and women is. The lieutenant's coat was later found to have been exposed to 1,000-degree temperatures. The victim tragically succumbed later to her injuries. But the legacy of what Lieutenant Calori did will live on for many a year. And today we award him the James Gordon Bennett Medal, the highest firefighting award in this city. I want to tell you one other quick story, because today we're also honoring EMS Lieutenant Michael Dodona of Station 50 in Hillcrest, Queens. He is the recipient of EMS's highest honor, the Christopher J. Prescott Medal. Lieutenant Dodona arrived to the scene of a house on fire in the Rockaways and was told that there was an elderly woman trapped inside. Now remember, EMS's responsibility is to treat victims that have already been rescued. But Lieutenant Dodona arrived before the rescue companies had. And he went well above and beyond his call, running into the house, performing 2 searches, and finally finding the elderly woman and carrying her out of the flames. An amazing story of bravery. But again, an example of what those brave individuals in this department are capable of every day. 2 of many, many stories we could tell of selflessness and courage. Today, we honor these particularly heroic individuals, but it's also a day to thank every member of the FDNY. Every time that they come to the aid of a New Yorker in distress, every time they go into a burning building, every time they search through a building that's collapsed, and all who answered the call that tragic day almost 15 years ago on 9/11. we honor all of them. So on behalf of 8.5 million New Yorkers, I congratulate the heroes we honor today, and I thank all the men and women of the FDNY. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio. Our next speaker, our Fire Commissioner, Daniel Nigro.
Good morning and congratulations to all of the men and women whose brave actions we honor today. And a very special welcome to the two families here with us. First, the loved ones of our honorees whose support make their difficult work possible. And to our FDNY family, the firefighters, paramedics, EMTs, fire marshals, and officers who have mentored and trained our medal recipients and stood by their side as they performed the outstanding, heroic work we honor today. In particular, I want to welcome a member of my own family, my nephew, Lieutenant Adam Vilagos of Engine 316 in Queens, recipient of this year's Hugh Bonner and Honor Legion medals for rescuing a baby from the attic of a home fully engulfed in flames last November. As his commissioner, I'm proud of his dramatic rescue, but as his uncle, I'm even more proud of the man and the fire officer he's become. Outstanding job, Adam. Today is a day of celebration. We celebrate the lives saved by the exceptional group of FDNY members seated before us. We celebrate the training and the dedication of these members, which made it possible to accomplish extraordinary feats, like paramedics Marilyn Arroyo and Jimmy Guadalacela, who, while EMTs in 2012, rescued 3 people, including an 86-year-old woman from a submerged car in Queens. Today, they are the inaugural recipients of the paramedic Carlos Lillo and Lieutenant Ricardo Quinn Medal. This award is named for 2 of the 343 members killed 15 years ago at the World Trade Center. Their names and the names of every member we lost that day are synonymous with bravery, and it is truly fitting their memory will continue to live on with this prestigious medal. On September 11th, every member of the department came together to work as one, with one single mission to protect life and property. That is our sworn mission, one that each of our recipients risked their lives to accomplish last year. Saving a suicidal man from a rooftop in the Bronx, as Deputy Chief Michael Fields did last September. Removing a dangerous individual from the street less than 24 hours after he set a dangerous fire in Queens, as Fire Marshals James Egan and Andre Ramos did in March of 2015. Or rescuing people from fires in Brooklyn and the Bronx, like this year's Gordon Bennett recipient, Lieutenant Brian Calori, and Prescott Medal recipient, Lieutenant Michael Dodona. FDNY members never shy away from a challenge. They respond whenever called, going towards the danger and working tirelessly to help others. In the last year, there is one incident that stands to me and demonstrates the tremendous collaboration, bravery, and life-saving training that defines our department. On March 26, 2015, a natural gas explosion tore through a restaurant and apartment building on 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. Within seconds, off-duty firefighter Mike Shepard of Squad 41 was at the building, helping a resident down the fire escape, and without any protective gear or equipment, conducting a primary search of the building for trapped occupants. For his work, he receives the Chief John J. McGilligan Medal today. In minutes, FDNY members responded from throughout the city and went to work fighting that roaring fire. When I responded to the scene, I was met with a sight that was far more common in our city decades ago. Nearly an entire block of buildings with fire and thick smoke roaring out of every window. 2 innocent people lost their lives that day in the explosion. If not for the quick and decisive actions of firefighter Matthew Cassidy and Bertram Springstead of Ladder 9, we would have lost another life as well, one of our own. They too receive medals today for their performance in the face of grave danger. Their actions that day saved lives, both members of the public and members of our department. They and every member that responded that day, every firefighter who battled a fire, every EMT and paramedic who treated the injured, every fire marshal who investigated, and every single member who took part in the arduous task of searching. They all demonstrate why FDNY members are known as the bravest. Witnessing our members in action, displaying courage and fortitude at every turn, I was incredibly proud that day to serve as commissioner of this storied department. I remain proud every day to have this honor, and on this day especially, when we celebrate the remarkable actions of 67 FDNY members here on the steps of City Hall. To all of you, and on behalf of a very grateful city, thank you for going above and beyond in keeping our citizens safe, and thank you for ensuring that the FDNY continues to be the best that it can be, the greatest fire department in the world.
Thank you, Commissioner Nigro. We will now commence with the presentation of the medals. I will ask the ceremonial officers to escort Mayor de Blasio, Fire Commissioner Nigro, and Chief of Department Leonard to the area in front of the stage. And here we go. Our first medal, our highest medal, the James Gordon Bennett Medal, New York State Honorary Fire Chiefs Association Medal. This year being awarded to Lieutenant Brian Calalori, Hook and Ladder 174, Snyder Isle. On the morning of February 1st, 174 responded first due for a phone alarm for a house fire on East 98th Street in East Flatbush section of Brooklyn. Arriving first due, Lieutenant Calalori observed heavy smoke pushing from the front door. As his iron team forced entry into the apartment door, they were met with a heavy smoke condition. The OVM reported heavy fire venting out of the building's rear windows. Lieutenant Calalori entered the building to begin his search. 25 feet into the apartment, he found an unconscious male and began to drag him out of the apartment. He was assisted by his inside team in the victim's removal. He then re-entered the apartment, finding an unconscious female. At this time, fire was rolling over the officer's head. Shielding his second victim, he dragged her out of the building. For his act of bravery, at great personal risk, we are proud to award the James Gordon Bennett Medal to Lieutenant Brian Calalori, Hook and Ladder 174, Engine Company 310, Snyder Isle. Brian Calalori, let's hear it. .174, 310 engine. Congratulations, Brian. Our next medal, the Brooklyn Citizens Medal, Firefighter Louis Valentino Award, is being awarded to Firefighter Michael Rizetnik, Tower Ladder 157, the Jolly Rogers. We're in the early evening hours of December 11, 2015. 157 truck responded to a reported building fire on East 26th Street in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn, with reports of people trapped. On arrival, they were met with a heavy fire condition in a two-story private dwelling with an enclosed porch. Civilians stated that people were trapped inside. Firefighter Rizetnik The OVM placed a portable ladder to the porch and climbed onto the roof. Heavy black smoke was pushing from the windows as he entered the bedroom. Under extremely high heat and smoke conditions, he began his search while other members yelled for him to get out of the building. With fire now entering the bedroom, he found an unconscious victim. Using all his strength, firefighter Zetnik shielded and removed the victim out the window to awaiting members. With his turnout coat now on fire, firefighter Zetnik dove out the window where engine 281 opened a hose line to extinguish his bunker coat. Ignoring his own burns, he assisted with first aid on the victim. Firefighter Michael Restetnik displayed tremendous bravery during this rescue, and we proudly award him the Brooklyn Citizens Medal, Louis Valentino Award. Firefighter Michael Restetnik, Colorado 157, engine 255, the Jolly Rogers. Our next medal, the EMT paramedic Carlos Lilo, Lieutenant Ricardo Quinn Medal, this year being awarded to EMT Marilyn Arroyo and EMT Jimmy Guacasella, Station 46, Elmhurst, we do it all. And this medal was created to honor the bravery of the two men that perished at the Twin Towers while helping others. Just created, this medal is bestowed on the recipient of the Christopher Mescott Medal for the private 3 years. First to receive this most prestigious medal are paramedics Arroyo and Guacacella, where on the morning of April 15, 2012, the Cypress Hill section of Queens was hit with a severe rainstorm that caused major flooding. EMTs Arroyo and Guacacella were dispatched to a reported submerged vehicle at the Cooper and Central Avenue underpass. Arriving in the proximity of this location, they observed a car taking on water and 3 civilians screaming for help. EMT Guacacella quickly entered the water while EMT Arroyo scaled a fence using a 2-tiered approach. EMT Guacacella removed 1 victim from the vehicle to higher ground, while EMT Arroyo removed the 2nd victim via the car's sunroof. Both EMTs removed the 3rd elderly victim from the car before it came totally submerged in water. After successfully removing the victims, they continued their sworn duties by evaluating and treating their patients. For their bravery and dedication beyond the call of duty, the department is proud to present the Christopher J. Prescott Medal to EMTs Mary Lou Arroyo and Jimmy Guacacella, and the EMT paramedic Carlos Lillo and Lieutenant Ricardo Quinn Medal. Let's hear it for them. Our next medal, the Christopher Prescott Medal, is being awarded to EMS Lieutenant Michael Dodona, Station 50, Hillcrest. Where on the evening of October 20th, 2015, EMS Lieutenant Michael Dodona was detailed to Station 47 in the Rockaway section of Queens. While monitoring the police, fire, and EMS frequencies as part of his job, a reported house fire was reported several blocks from his location. Arriving before the first 2 fire companies, a civilian reported to him that a woman was trapped in a building, a 2-story private dwelling. With a heavy smoke condition on the 2nd floor, Lieutenant Dodona began a search looking for the woman. Unable to find her on the 2nd floor, he focused now on the 1st floor. In the rear bedroom on the 1st floor, he found an elderly woman. Lieutenant Dodona removed the victim safely outside the building as the first 2 companies arrived. Operating alone and without respiratory protection, Lieutenant Dodona entered a burning house and saved a life. Today, we proudly bestow the Christopher Prescott Medal on EMS Lieutenant Michael Dodona, Station 50, Hillcrest. Mike Dodona, Station 50, Hillcrest. Great job, Mike. Our next medal, the U Barna Medal, Honor Legion Medal, being awarded to Lieutenant Adam Vilagos, Engine 316, Land, Sea, and Air. Where on the evening of November 17, 2015, 316 engine responded first due to reported fire on 106th Street in the Corona section of Queens. Upon arrival, family members were screaming that their baby was trapped in the attic of this 2.5-story wood-frame private dwelling. Without a ladder company on the scene, Lieutenant Villalobos transmitted a 1075, ordered his members to stretch a hose line, and raced into the burning building. On the second floor, he was met with extremely heavy smoke condition, with fire now venting out of several windows. Crawling on his stomach, he searched for the stairway leading to the attic. Finding the stairway behind a narrow doorway, Lieutenant Villalobos ascended the stairs with high heat and smoke, causing chimney-like conditions. Once in the attic, he began his search, found a crib, and discovered the baby as Engine 316, without a supervisor, began extinguishing the fire, a path that was made for the baby's quick removal. Lieutenant Villalobos, operating alone without a hose line for fire protection, passed 2 rooms of fire, found the attic, and removed an infant. For his act of bravery and unusual personal risk, we award him the U Bonner Medal, Honor Legion Medal. Adam Villalobos, Engine 316, Land, Sea, and Air. Our next medal is the Emily Trevor Mary B. Warren Medal, this year being awarded to firefighter Joseph Andres, Hook and Ladder 108, the Pride of Williamsburg. Where on the evening of August 4, 2015, 108 responded for an EMS 911 call for a civilian in distress. Arriving at their location on Hooper Street, they were directed to rear of a building where they observed a male dangling by a cable upside down 3 stories above the ground. As the members of 108 started deploying portable ladders, firefighter Andres proceeded to the roof with his life-saving rope. Working with Fire Discreneto, the chauffeur, firefighter Andres prepared for a roof rope rescue. Upon the officer's orders, firefighter Andres was lowered off the roof to rescue the victim. As he reached the victim, the cable snapped. However, firefighter Andres was able to maintain control of the victim, where they were safely lowered to the ground. Firefighter Andres made a daring rescue at unusual personal risk and saved the victim from serious injury and possible death. For his act, we award him the Emily Trevor Mary B. Warren Medal. Firefighter Joseph Andres, Hook and Ladder 108, Engine 216, the Pride of Williamsburg. Great job, Joe. Our next medal, the Thomas E. Crimmins Medal, this year being awarded to firefighter Frank Floridia, Hook and Ladder 132, in the eye of the storm. In the early morning hours of January 21st, 2015, Hook and Ladder 132 responded second due to report a building fire on Flatbush Avenue in the Park Slope section of Brooklyn. On arrival, heavy fire was venting out of a hardware store with occupied apartments above, with reports of civilians trapped above the fire. The inside team, including firefighter Floridia, made their way to the second floor. With heavy fire extending from the store below, firefighter Floridia made his way to the rear of the apartment, where he found 2 unconscious adults. After transmitting at 10:45, he attempted to remove a victim to a rear window, but fire was auto-exposing from below. He proceeded to drag the victim back to the main stair, where he was met by his captain. Passing the victim off, he made his way back to the rear room and began removing the second victim. At this point, fire was rolling over their heads. As Engine 226 advanced and operated their hand line, firefighter Floridia removed the victims to safety. For his act of bravery at unusual personal risk, we award firefighter Frank Floridia the Thomas E. Crimmins Medal, Hook and Ladder 132, Engine Company 280, in the eye of the storm. Our next medal, the Thomas A. Kenny Memorial Medal, being awarded to Lieutenant Victor Malukas, Tower Ladder 159, the Friendly Firehouse. Where just after midnight on August 24, 2015, Tower Ladder 159 responded first due to reported house fire on Avenue P in the Marine Park section of Brooklyn. There were numerous reports of a child trapped, and on arrival, heavy smoke was pushing from 2 second-floor windows. A civilian was also screaming that a baby was trapped on the second floor. Lieutenant Malukas proceeded quickly to the second floor, where heavy smoke and high heat drove him to the floor. Crawling past the fire, he searched the front bedroom with no results. Making his way back to the middle bedroom, he felt a pile of clothes in the corner, where he found the unconscious child. Shielding the child, he removed him from the inferno and outside to safety, where Engine 323 began CPR. The young child spent many days in a hospital but made a full recovery. For his act at unusual personal risk, we proudly award the Thomas A. Kenny Memorial Medal to Lieutenant Victor Malukas, Tower Ladder 159, Engine 309, the Friendly Firehouse. Our next medal, the Walter Scott Medal, this year being awarded to firefighter Daniel Foley, Rescue Company number 3, Big Blue. Where on the afternoon of February 17, 2015, Rescue Company 3 responded to a working fire in a 21-story fireproof multiple dwelling on Webster Avenue in the Claremont section of the Bronx. On arrival, they had a confirmed fire in an apartment on the 13th floor. NYPD members also confirmed the man was holding his family hostage. With fire venting out the 13th floor windows and lives at stake, a decision was made to force entry. As entry was made, fire was quickly rolling across the ceiling. Firefighter Foley crawled down the hall and entered the bedroom where he heard moaning. Finding a victim, he attempted to remove him, at which time the male ripped off firefighter Foley's facepiece. A fair struggle ensued, and with the assistance of firefighter Fredette, the man was subdued and removed from the apartment. Firefighter Foley risked serious physical injury during this rescue and removal, and we proudly award him the Walter Scott Medal. Dan Foley, Rescue Company number 3, Big Blue. Our next medal, the John H. Prentice Medal, this year being awarded to firefighter Michael Marchese, Tower Ladder 157, the Jolly Rogers. Where at the start of the day tour of Saturday, March 28, 2015, Tower Ladder 157 responded to a reported multiple dwelling fire on Clarendon Road in the East Flatbush section of Brooklyn. On arrival, firefighter Marchese, the OVM, spotted a woman on the floor above the fire screaming for help. As he positioned the towel ladder bucket into the window, she went back inside the apartment. With fire venting from below, firefighter Marchese quickly entered the apartment above the fire, finding 2 critically injured females. He reported this and requested assistance. At the same time, he found an unconscious child. He quickly picked up the child, removing this victim to the safety of the street where he began CPR. At the same time, ladder 147 removed the 2 women. Firefighter Marchese entered the apartment over a heavy fire and is instrumental in the rescue of 3 civilians. For his initiative, bravery, and heroic actions, we award firefighter Michael Marchese the John H. Prentice Medal, Tower Ladder 157, Engine 255, the Jolly Rogers. Our next medal, the Henry D. Brookman Medal, being awarded this year to Lieutenant John Hassany, Engine 287, the Elmhurst Eagles. Where in the afternoon of March 24, 2015, 287 responded on an EMS run on 53rd Avenue in the Elmhurst section of Queens. As they turned into the block, heavy fire was venting out 2 windows on the 2nd floor of a private dwelling. After transmitting at 1075, Lieutenant Hassany asked the woman on the front porch if anyone was inside. The woman replied no. As he entered the building, Lieutenant Hassany observed heavy smoke coming from the apartment and the sound of someone coughing inside. Under high heat and Collier's Mansion conditions, he entered the apartment to begin his search. After crawling past the fire in the dining room, he found a semi-conscious woman. Using all his strength, he dragged the victim out of the apartment to awaiting members and medical care. Lieutenant Hassany then led the nozzle team in the extinguishment of the fire. And for his act of bravery at unusual personal risk, we award the Henry D. Brookman Medal to Lieutenant John Hassany, Engine 287, Hook and Ladder 136, 4th Battalion, Elmhurst Eagles. Let's hear it. Our next medal, the Chief Ulysses Grant Leadership Medal, this year being awarded to EMS Deputy Chief Michael Fields of Division 2. Where on the afternoon of September 17, 2015, EMS Deputy Chief Michael Fields was just starting his tour of duty when he heard a call for an emotionally disturbed person threatening to jump from the 20th floor of a Park Avenue building. Chief Fields was several blocks away and responded. Once on the scene, Chief Fields was ordered to the roof to evaluate conditions. Once on the roof, he observed an agitated male threatening to jump. From his 20 years of experience dealing with troubled patients, Chief Fields believed the victim was going to jump. An NYPD officer distracted the victim as Chief Fields bear hugged the victim and pulled him off the roof's ledge. Chief Fields remained on the scene to oversee the patient's treatment and transport. If it wasn't for the quick thinking and actions of Chief Mike Fields, we may have lost this victim. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we proudly bestow the Ulysses Grant Leadership Medal to EMS Deputy Chief Michael Fields, Division 2. Our next medal, the Hispanic Society 23rd Street Fire Memorial Medal, this year being awarded to Captain John Zollner, hook and ladder 55. Not to worry. Where on the evening of August 18, 2015, 55 truck was returning from another alarm and was directed to East 161st Street in the Melrose section of the Bronx for a fire in a multiple dwelling. Upon arrival, they were confronted with a fire on the third floor of an 8-story fireproof multiple dwelling. Captain Zollner, using his thermal imaging camera, identified the fire apartment and then the attack stair for incoming units. Once inside the apartment, he closed the door and had his IONS team hold the extending kitchen fire in check. As he searched the apartment, he located a wheelchair, but no victim. Continuing his search, he found an unconscious elderly woman. With the help of firefighter Caffrey, the woman was removed from the apartment to awaiting EMS personnel. This entire rescue took place before the first hose line was placed in operation. For his act of bravery at unusual personal risk, we proudly bestow the Hispanic Society 23rd Street Fire Memorial Medal on Captain John Zollner, hook and ladder 55, engine 71, Division 6. Not to worry. Great job, Mike. Our next medal, the M.J. Delahanty Medal, being awarded to firefighter William Willits, hook and ladder 19. Nobody's perfect. Where on the afternoon of February 17, 2015, hook and ladder 19 responded first due for a fire in a 21-story fireproof MD on Webster Avenue, the Claremont section of the Bronx. On arrival, they had a confirmed fire in an apartment on the 13th floor. Again, NYPD members also confirmed the man was holding his family hostage. With fire venting out the 13th floor windows and lives at stake, a decision was made to force entry into the apartment. Firefighter Willits attempted to hold the fire back with his extinguisher as Engine 46 advanced their hose line. Knowing he could come across the armed suspect, he continued to search for victims. Firefighter Willits quickly came across a semi-conscious woman who had been repeatedly stabbed. Shielding the woman from further harm, Firefighter Willits removed her out of the apartment into the safety of an elevator and EMS personnel. Firefighter Willits not only entered an apartment under deteriorating conditions, but also during a known hostage situation. For his act of bravery, we award Firefighter William Willits the M.J. Delahanty Medal, hook and ladder 19, engine 50, battalion 26, where nobody's perfect. Our next medal is the Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia Medal, this year being awarded to Lieutenant Angelo Sacco, Tower Ladder 157, the Jolly Rogers. We're in the early evening hours of December 11, 2015. Tower Ladder 157 responded to a reported building fire on East 26th Street in the Flatbush section of Brooklyn with reports of people trapped. On arrival, they were met with a heavy fire condition in a 2-story private dwelling with an enclosed porch. A violent street altercation was also taking place. As Lieutenant Sacco and his inside team entered the building, the stairs to the second floor were engulfed in fire. As 255 stretched the line, Lieutenant Sacco quickly searched the first floor. As the stair fire was knocked down, Lieutenant Sacco and his inside team advanced to the second floor. Working room to room down the main hallway, Lieutenant Sacco found an unconscious female wedged between heavy furniture. Freeing her, he began to remove her from the fire floor under extreme conditions. She was quickly removed and turned over to EMS personnel. There were multiple 1045s at this operation, and Lieutenant Sacco displayed enormous bravery at unusual personal risk. We are proud to bestow the Mayor Fiorella LaGuardia Medal on Lieutenant Angelo Sacco, Tower Ladder 157, Engine 255. The Jolly Rogers. Let's hear it. Our next medal, the William F. Conrad Medal, being awarded to Captain Michael Cucurullo, Hook and Ladder 132, in the eye of the storm. In the early morning hours of January 21st, 2015, 132 responded second due to report a building fire on Flatbush Avenue in the Park Slope section of Brooklyn. On arrival, heavy smoke was venting out of a hardware store with occupied apartments above. With reports of people trapped above the fire, Captain Cucurullo and his inside team quickly advanced to the floor above. With fire already in the front apartment, Captain Cucurullo conducted a quick search while firefighter Corson with the extinguisher held the fire at bay. Captain Cucurullo then advanced to the rear apartment where firefighter Floridia found two unconscious victims. Captain Cucurullo, using all his strength and running out of air, managed to drag one victim back down the hall to the only viable means of egress. As fire advanced over his head, he used his body to shield the victim. At this time, Engine 226 began to advance their hand line so Captain Cucurullo could complete his rescue. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we award the William F. Conrad Medal to Captain Michael Cucurullo, Hook and Ladder 132, Engine 280, in the eye of the storm. Being joined by his son Mike, his brothers Mark, Steve, and wife Joanne. He actually lent me his car on my first date 35 years ago. Congratulations, Mike. Okay. Our next medal, the John J. McGilligot Medal, Firefighter Fitzpatrick and Frisbee Award. This year being awarded to firefighter Michael Shepard, Squad 41, the best of both worlds. We're on the afternoon of March 26, 2015. An explosion rocked the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Firefighter Michael Shepard, while off duty, was leaving a local restaurant and ran towards the explosion. The situation was chaotic, with disoriented and injured civilians. Firefighter Shepard observed a woman in distress on the building's fire escape and instructed her to lower the drop ladder. He quickly ascended and removed the woman to safety. He then climbed the fire escape through heavy smoke and no protective equipment. Firefighter Shepard performed a critical floor-by-floor exterior survey of the building. Noting missing floors, walls, and an extending fire, he transmitted this critical information to the first arriving battalion chief and deputy chief. With this information, our members were removed from all buildings. Seconds later, a major collapse occurred of all involved buildings. The valiant action of Firefighter Shepard validates our training and situational awareness. For his act of bravery, today award him the John J. McGilligot Medal, Firefighter Fitzpatrick and Frisbee Award. Mike Shepard, Squad 41, the best of both worlds. Our next medal is the Thomas F. Doherty Medal, being awarded to firefighter Sean Myro, Hook and Ladder 148, where it ain't easy. We're on the evening of May 22nd, 2015. 148 responded first due to a house fire on 60th Street in the ballpark section of Brooklyn. A woman was also on the phone with our dispatcher saying she was trapped with her two daughters above the fire. On arrival, heavy fire was venting out the front door. Firefighter Sean Myro, the chauffeur, placed the roof firefighter to roof and then placed the aerial to the floor above the fire. Ascending to the window, Firefighter Myro removed the window and entered the apartment under heavy heat and high smoke conditions. Finding the unconscious mother, Firefighter Myro dragged her back to the window and onto the aerial ladder. While engaged in this rescue, firefighters Joseph Adio and James Canala found the two unconscious daughters and brought them to safety. 3 unconscious victims were rescued by the members of 148. And for Sean's act of bravery, we award him the Thomas F. Doherty Medal. Firefighter Sean Myro, Hook and Ladder 148, Engine 282. It ain't easy. Great job, Sean. Onyx Medal, the Albert S. Johnston Medal being awarded to firefighter Matthew Cassidy. Tower Ladder 9, the Bowery U. Where on the afternoon of March 26, 2015, Tower Ladder 9 responded to the 2nd Avenue and East 7th Street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. As they reached the location, they became heavily engaged in a fire and collapse operation. Firefighter Cassidy, the OVM, quickly entered the bucket of Ladder 9 and transported the roof firefighter to the roof. He then brought the bucket to the top floor of the structure. After hearing a request for assistance with a top floor search, Firefighter Cassidy exited the bucket and entered the top floor. As he searched, he heard the horrible sounds of an imminent collapse. As Firefighter Cassidy dove back into the bucket, the original fire building started to collapse. Now, a frantic call was transmitted from a firefighter trapped on the roof of Exposure 4. Firefighter Cassidy raised the bucket through high heat and smoke to rescue this trapped firefighter. For his courageous act at this major fire and collapse operation, we proudly award Firefighter Matthew Cassidy the Albert S. Johnston Medal. Matt Cassidy, Tower Ladder 9, Engine 33, Bowery U. Our next medal, the Entertainment Society Franklin Delano Roosevelt Medal, being awarded to Lieutenant Michael Russo, Hook and Ladder 168, the 18th Avenue crew. We're just after midnight on June 14, 2015. Hook and Ladder, Tower Ladder 149 responded first due to reported private dwelling fire on 80th Street in the Dyker Heights section of Brooklyn. On arrival, they were confronted with a heavy fire on the 2nd floor of a 2-story semi-attached private dwelling. With a report of an elderly man trapped, Lieutenant Russo quickly entered the fire building with his inside team. He masked up and ascended the stairs to the 2nd floor. Under high heat and smoke conditions, he began his search of the 2nd floor, finding an unconscious victim in the bedroom. As he removed the victim, the rapidly extending fire cut off his only means of escape. Shielding the victim with his body, Lieutenant Russo sought refuge in the bathroom as Engine 284 knocked down the fire. Lieutenant Russo then brought the victim out of the building where CPR was performed. For his act of bravery, a life was saved, and we proudly bestow the Entertainment Society Franklin Delano Roosevelt Medal on Lieutenant Mike Russo, Hook and Ladder 168, Engine 284, Battalion 42, the 18th Avenue crew. Our next medal, the Tracy Allen Lee Medal, being awarded to EMT paramedic Niall O'Shaughnessy, Station 4, the Lower East Side. We're in the early morning hours of July 20th, 2015. Paramedics O'Shaughnessy and Moses Nelson were covering an area near Pier 25 in Lower Manhattan. Bystanders alerted the crew of a young woman in the water struggling to stay afloat. While paramedic Nelson made requests for additional assistance, paramedic O'Shaughnessy assessed the scene and the victim. As he saw fatigue setting in, he jumped into the Hudson River to keep her afloat. Struggling against the swift currents, he was able to keep the woman afloat until the arrival of Marine One Alpha. Through these coordinated efforts, the victim was brought to shore and tragedy averted. Against a multitude of hazards at this operation, paramedic O'Shaughnessy bravely put others ahead of himself. For his commitment and bravery, we proudly bestow the Tracy Allen Lee Medal on paramedic Niall O'Shaughnessy, Station 4, the Lower East Side. Our next medal, the Vincent J. Kane Medal, being awarded to firefighter Kevin Hillman, Tower Ladder 54, the Story Avenue Gang. We're on the frigid evening of January 29, 2015. Tower Ladder 54 was directed to respond to report of a child trapped on the ice in the Bronx River. Ladder 54, a cold water rescue unit, had firefighter Vincent Hillman as the primary entry firefighter. Donning his cold water rescue suit, he responded. On arrival, they spotted the child on an ice floe. Firefighter Hillman climbed down the steep, icy, and rocky terrain to reach the shoreline. Assuring the victim he entered the water encountering strong currents. The ice was too thin to support firefighter Hillman, so he swam as close as possible to the victim. Other members of 54 positioned the portable ladder on the ice. Once near the child, firefighter Hillman guided him onto the portable ladder where he was brought to shore. At this time, firefighter Hillman's wetsuit had taken on water and hypothermia was setting in. Both firefighter Hillman and the child were treated and released at a local hospital for exposure. For his act of bravery in extremely severe conditions, we award the Vincent J. Kane Medal to firefighter Kevin Hillman, Towel Ladder 54, Engine 96, the Story Avenue Gang. Our next medal is the Drummer Medal, being awarded to firefighter Brian Brown, Rescue Company Number 3, Big Blue. Where on the evening of March 7, 2015, Rescue 3 was directed to respond to the vicinity of West 225th Street in the Marble Hill section of the Bronx for a person in the water. On arrival, Rescue 3 used its thermal imaging camera and detected a person in the water. Gaining access to the water's edge was no easy task. Firefighter Brown and Rescue 3 members had to cut through a fence and 3 snow-covered electrified tracks of the Metro North subway line. Once at the water's bulkhead, Firefighter Brown observed the victim losing her grip on the bridge pylon. He quickly jumped into the frigid water and swam towards the woman. As he got closer, she lost her grip and started to submerge. Firefighter Brown quickly grabbed her in a bear hug and rolled her on her back. Rescue 3 members then pulled the two towards the bulkhead where the victim was hoisted to shore and transported to a hospital. For showing great strength, courage, and determination in saving a life, we bestow the Drummer Medal, Firefighter Brian Brown, Rescue Company Number 3, Big Blue. Our next medal is the Frank W. Kreidel Medal, being awarded to firefighter Dennis Gallagher, Towel Ladder 46, the Pride of Kingsbridge. We're in the late afternoon of January 9, 2015. 46 truck responded to report a building fire on Gouverneur Avenue in the Van Cortlandt Park section of the Bronx. On arrival, heavy smoke was issuing from 2 windows on the 5th floor. While entering the building, heavy fire was emanating from a 3rd-floor apartment. However, a 5th-floor apartment door was left open, causing a flow path. Firefighter Gallagher, the OVM, knew he had to get above the fire. Gaining access to the 5th floor, he crawled into the apartment under high heat and smoke conditions. Making his way to a rear bedroom, he found 2 unconscious victims on the floor. He transmitted 1045, and with the assistance of firefighter Barry of Squad 61, they removed the victims to the floor below the fire and awaiting EMS personnel. Firefighter Gallagher performed this rescue without the protection of a hose line, and we proudly award him the Frank W. Kreidel Medal. Dennis Gallagher, Towel Ladder 46, Engine 81, the Pride of Kingsbridge. Our next medal is the Emerald Society Medal, being awarded to firefighter Christopher Polozovsky, Hook and Ladder 116, the Flaming Skulls. We're on the morning of November 25th, 2015. 116 responded to a reported building fire on 35th Street in the Long Island City section of Queens. At the time, they were 2 blocks away on BISP and arrived quickly. Fire was venting out 2 windows on the 2nd floor of this multiple dwelling with reports of a woman trapped. Firefighter Polovensky forced entry into the building and proceeded to the fire floor. He gained entry into the fire apartment, and under high heat and smoke conditions and Collier's Mansion conditions, he began his search, making his way to a rear bedroom. Firefighter Polozovsky found the unconscious woman and dragged her back towards the front door as fire rolled over his head. He managed to remove the victim from the apartment to awaiting EMS personnel. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we award firefighter Christopher Polozovsky the Emerald Society Medal. Chris Polozovsky, Hook and Ladder 116. They're the Flaming Skulls. Our next medal, the Chief Wesley Williams Medal, being awarded to firefighter Dennis Dermody, Engine 289, the Corona Tigers. In the early morning hours of March 5th, 2015, 289 responded to an EMS run for an injured male at the 103rd Street station of the IRT 7 line. On arrival, our members were told that a civilian was hit and killed by a subway train. After transmitting the box from and under a train, 289 went to work. Firefighter Dermody from the street below determined that the victim was under the 2nd car of the train. He communicated to his officer and then proceeded to the platform level with a longboard. Knowing help would be delayed, he acquired wooden slippers from the train conductor and placed them over the contact shoes of the 3rd rail. He then assisted under the train in bleeding control and packaging of the victim. Firefighter Dermody then placed the victim on a blackboard and aided in his removal. With his quick thinking and courageous actions, the victim survived his ordeal, and we bestow the Chief Wesley Williams Medal on firefighter Dennis Dermody, engine 289, tower ladder 138, the Corona Tigers. $289, 138. Let's hear it. Corona Tigers. Our next medal, the Holy Name Society Medal of Brooklyn and Queens. This year being awarded to firefighter Frank Busner, hook and ladder 136, the Elmhurst Eagles. We're on the evening of December 26, 2014. 136 responded to a phone alarm for building fire on 66th Street in the Elmhurst section of Queens. Arriving first due, they observed heavy smoke pushing from the basement windows. Firefighter Busner with the extinguisher made his way down the basement stairs. He began his search under heavy heat and smoke conditions, finding an unconscious occupant. After transmitting at 10:45, firefighter Busner removed the victim quickly to the base of the stairs. With the assistance of fellow members of 136, the victim was successfully removed from the fire building. For his bravery and decisive actions at this basement fire and saving a life, we proudly award the Holy Name Society of Brooklyn, Queens to firefighter Frank Busner, hook and ladder 136, engine 287, battalion 46. They're your Elmhurst Eagles. Our next medal is the Chief James Scullion Medal, this year being awarded to Dr. Dario Gonzalez, Office of Medical Affairs, EMT Matthew Herzog, Station 8, EMT Taylor Perez, Station 8, Paramedic Joseph Udak, Station 4, and Paramedic Christina Aponte, Station 10. We're on the morning of October 30th, 2015. EMTs Herzog and Perez were assigned to a reported building collapse on 38th Street in Midtown Manhattan. On arrival, they were confronted with a collapsed building and a pinned patient. They quickly made a patient assessment and notified rescue medics, Udak and Aponte, of the victim's condition. On their arrival, they set up an operations sector and entered the collapse area. They made assessment and began treatment while debris came down around them. With Dr. Gonzalez also in the collapse area, chemical warming blankets and fluids were used to maintain the victim's body temperature, and additional pain management was given to make the patient comfortable. After 3 hours, the victim was freed and taken to the rescue medics ambulance for a more thorough evaluation by Dr. Gonzalez and his team of EMTs and paramedics. They stabilized the patient and transported him to Bellevue Hospital. For the extraordinary efforts during this difficult patient extrication from a complicated and dangerous collapse, the Chief James Scullion Medal is presented to Dr. Dario Gonzalez, rescue paramedics Christina Aponte and Joseph Udak, and EMTs Matthew Herzog and Taylor Perez. The Chief James Scullion Medal for a job well done. I would now tell a joke, but I was told not to tell any jokes today. One. All right, here's a joke. Davida, you got the next 15. If you're keeping score, that was medal 28 out of 80. A 45. That was medal 28 out of 45. We're in the home stretch. One more time, folks. The Chief James Scullion Medal, Dr. Dario Gonzalez, EMTs, Herzog and Perez, paramedics, Udak and Aponte. Great job in saving a life. Our next medal, the Captain Dennis W. Lane Memorial Medal, this year being awarded to Captain James Kiesling, assigned to the Rescue Battalion, working in Rescue Company Number 1. We're on the morning of October 30th, 2015. Rescue 1 responded to a reported building collapse on West 38th Street in Midtown. Several floors of a building under demolition collapsed. The resulting collapse caused a lean-to void with multiple supported and unsupported members. With limited access, Captain Kiesling entered the area to assess the victim. A rapid initial assessment of both the structure and the victim indicated that extrication intervention had to start immediately. Captain Kiesling removed some debris to improve the victim's breathing. He also requested a rescue medic to begin patient care. Over the next 3 hours, Captain Kiesling supervised an intricate extrication operation that included shoring selected debris removal, cutting structural members, and lifting. He operated under dangerous conditions with limited resources to work in a confined area. For his bravery in successfully removing this worker, we award the Dennis W. Lane Memorial Medal on Captain Jimmy Kiesling, Rescue Company Number 1. Our next medal, the Uniform Fire Officers Association Medal, being awarded to John McGinty, Tower Ladder 13, the Pride of Yorkville. We're in the early morning hours of April 8, 2015. Tower Ladder 13 responded first due to a fire on East 78th Street on Manhattan's Upper East Side. On arrival, they were confronted with a fire on the third floor of a 6-story non-fireproof multiple dwelling with a report of people trapped. Once on the third floor, Lieutenant McGinty and his inside team were faced with a heavy smoke condition. Entering the fire apartment, he began his search. As he reached the rear bedroom, he found an unconscious woman. With fire now fully involving the rear bedroom, Lieutenant McGinty pulled the woman through the apartment and, with the assistance of his inside team, removed the victim while holding the fire in check with the can. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we award Lieutenant John McGinty the Uniform Fire Officers Association. John McGinty, Tower Ladder 13, Engine 22, the 10th Battalion, the Pride of Yorkville. Our next medal, the Dr. Albert A. Sinelli Medal, being awarded to firefighter Timothy O'Neill, Rescue Company Number 1. We're on the morning of October 30th. Rescue 1 responded to a building collapse on 38th Street in Midtown. The resulting collapse of several floors caused a lean-to collapse with many supported and unsupported members. Several smaller secondary collapses were occurring as Rescue 1 went to work to extricate a trapped construction worker. Firefighter O'Neill entered the area near the victim and began tunneling towards his right side. Duck walking, crawling, and snaking his way on his stomach to a space 14 inches high, he reached the victim and began to remove debris from around the worker's waist, replacing it with shoring. He also assisted rescue medics in treating the patient's injuries. This was a prolonged operation, and firefighter O'Neill operated for more than 3 hours underneath an unstable collapse area, successfully rescuing the worker. For his act of bravery, we bestow the Albert A. Sinelli Medal. Firefighter Timmy O'Neill, Rescue Company Number 1. Our next medal is the Fire Chiefs Association Medal, being awarded to firefighter Michael Chaffee, Rescue Company Number 1. On the morning of October 30th, 2015, Rescue 1 responded to a building collapse in the Midtown section of Manhattan. Several floors of a building under demolition collapsed and a worker was pinned. Arriving from their West 43rd Street firehouse in minutes, Rescue 1 quickly went to work at extricating the worker. Because the victim was in respiratory distress and despite the danger stabilizing the area, extrication had to be completed simultaneously. As debris was being cleared, firefighter Chaffee began tunneling operations to assess the victim's left side. After this was complete, he began extrication operations. Firefighter Chaffee continued this extremely delicate operation for 3 hours using highly specialized equipment. He used unconventional lifting and cutting operations underneath an unstable collapse area, successfully freeing the worker. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we award firefighter Mike Chaffee the Fire Chiefs Association Medal. Rescue Company Number 1. Our next medal is the Fire Marshal's Benevolent Association Medal, being awarded to firefighter Daniel Gunter, Engine 289, the Corona Tigers. Where in the early morning hours of March 5th, 2015, 289 responded to an EMS run for an injured male at the 103rd Street elevated station of the IRT 7 line. On arrival, our members were told a civilian was hit and killed by a subway train. After transmitting the box for a man under a train, 289 began operations to confirm the victim's condition. Upon confirmation of power off and after the victim's location was ascertained from below, firefighter Gunter entered the train car, used the emergency exit to open the exit door on the express side of the train car, and climbed onto the catwalk. Crawling under the car, he assessed the victim's condition and immediately controlled his bleeding. Using a knife, he cut the victim's clothes that were caught under the train's mighty wheels. Placing the victim on a black backboard, he dragged him from under the train car, and members assisted in lifting him to the platform and awaiting EMS personnel. Firefighter Gunter acted like a seasoned veteran and played a big role in saving a life. We proudly bestow the Fire Marshal's Benevolent Association Medal upon him. Dan Gunter, Engine 289, Ladder 138, the Corona Tigers. Our next medal, the Community Mayor's Lieutenant Robert Dolney Medal, being awarded to firefighter James McIntee. Hook and Ladder 43, El Barrio's bravest, working in Marine 3. We're on the brutally hot evening of August 1st, 2015. Marine 3 responded to report a person in distress in the Atlantic Ocean off Rockaway Beach. On their arrival, they observed the youth struggling to stay afloat in the pounding currents, yelling for help. With the ocean swells rolling, they were unable to rescue the boy using the fireboat. Firefighter McIntee abandoned these efforts and dove into the heavy surf to reach the boy. Utilizing a rescue torpedo to maintain the victim's head above the water, firefighter McIntee swam to shore, pulling his victim to safety and awaiting land units. He then re-entered the pounding surf to assist 4 other swimmers to shore. For his act of courage and cool thinking in saving this young man's life, we proudly award the Community Mayor's Lieutenant Robert Dolney Medal to firefighter James McIntee. Hook and Ladder 43, Engine 53, El Barrio's bravest. Let's hear it. James McIntee. Our next medal is the Lieutenant Kirby McElern Medal, being awarded to EMS Captain Horace Williams, EMS Lieutenant Robert Atkins, Station 44, the Rockaway Avenue Roadrunners. Where on September 14, 2015, Captain Williams and Lieutenant Atkins were starting their tour for the day. Just a few minutes past 6 a.m., they were startled by a loud banging on the station door. The commotion was generated by a neighborhood resident alerting the pair of a fire in a laundromat across the street. More alarming was there were people who were trapped in an adjacent building. The pair sprang into action. While the Brooklyn dispatcher was alerted of the active fire in the laundromat, the two officers proceeded to the adjacent occupied building to alert the occupants of the need to evacuate. They gained access into the building by breaking the glass of the front door and proceeded inside to knock on apartment doors to urge the residents to leave the premise. While the two bosses were assisted by other members who either finishing up or starting their shift, Captain Williams and Lieutenant Atkins were instrumental in ensuring that the building was safely evacuated. In spite of worsening smoke conditions, they proceeded to the upper floors to evacuate people. What started out as an ordinary day suddenly became extraordinary. The heroic and selfless actions of Captain Williams and Lieutenant Atkins saved the lives of many on this early morning of September 14, 2015. For their quick thinking and brave actions, Captain Horace Williams and Lieutenant Bob Atkins are honored with the Lieutenant Kirby McElwain Medal. Rob Atkins, Horace Williams, Station 44, the Rockaway Avenue Roadrunners. Onyx Medal, the Battalion Chief Frank Telemundo Medal, is being awarded to firefighter Randolph Reagan, Marine Company 6. Just after midnight on August 3, 2015, Marine 6 responded for a person in distress on the East River near Williamsburg Bridge. As the vessel neared the location, a male was observed barely clinging to the underside of a derelict pier. Firefighter Regan, the designated rescue diver, moved to the front of the boat so he could enter the water to swim against the strong current. Upon entering the water, he was hampered by both the current and the pier pilings. Trying to prevent his tether line from being snagged, he made his way to the victim. Grabbing the victim, he was pulled back towards Marine 6, but obstruction snagged his life torpedo. Firefighter Regan, using all his strength, was able to secure the victim and then free his line and torpedo. They were both then brought on to Marine Company 6. The victim was treated by our members and transferred over to EMS personnel. For his brave actions, we award firefighter Randolph Regan the Battalion Chief Frank Telemundo Medal. Russell Regan, Marine Company 6. Our next medal is the Dr. John F. Connell Medal, being awarded to firefighter Bertram Springsteen, Tower Ladder 9, the Bowery U. Where on the afternoon of March 26, 9 trucks responded 2nd Avenue East 7th Street on Manhattan for reported explosion. As they arrived at the location, they were presented with chaos. A natural gas explosion had caused a partial building collapse in addition to a raging fire. Firefighter Springsteen, the chauffeur, carefully positioned the apparatus outside the collapse zone and placed the OVM, Firefighter Cassidy, to the top floor where he began a search. As conditions deteriorated, Firefighter Cassidy dove out the window into Ladder 9's bucket. Firefighter Springsteen now observed a member trapped on the roof of exposure 4 and carefully repositioned the bucket to remove this member. As Firefighter Cassidy took control of the bucket, Firefighter Springsteen readied the apparatus for repositioning due to an imminent collapse of both buildings. Once the bucket was bedded, the apparatus was safely moved, saving what would have been $1 million loss. For his courage and extraordinary effort in the highest traditions of the department, we award the Dr. John F. Connell Medal to firefighter Bertram Springsteen. Tower Ladder 9, Engine 33, the Bowery U. Our next medal is the Fire Bell Club Medal, this year being awarded to Lieutenant Michael Ingram, Battalion 4-1, working in Hook and Ladder 132 in the eye of the storm. Where in the early morning hours of March 20, 2015, 132 responded first due to reported fire on Fulton Street in the Prospect Heights section of Brooklyn. On arrival, heavy smoke was venting out the top floor windows of this multiple dwelling. Lieutenant Ingram and his inside team quickly advanced to the top floor. Once on the top floor landing, they were faced with a refrigerator blocking 235's advance. As the members moved the obstruction, Lieutenant Ingram began his search of the fire apartment. Under heavy smoke and high heat, he advanced deeper into the fire apartment, finding an unconscious male. With fire advancing in his direction, Lieutenant Ingram quickly removed the male from the apartment, where he was turned over to other members. Lieutenant Ingram then re-entered the fire apartment to supervise ladder operations. For his act of bravery in saving a life, we proudly award the Fire Bell Club Medal to Lieutenant Michael Ingram, Battalion 4-1, working in Hook and Ladder 132 in the eye of the storm. Our next medal, the firefighter David DeFranco Medal, being awarded to firefighter Randolph Supek, Marine Company 6. We're just after midnight on the 30th of October. Marine 6 responded to a reported person in the water at the East River near 63rd Street. As Marine 6 neared the location, firefighter Supek spotted the victim below the seawall, clinging to a life ring that was thrown to him from above. At the same time, several passing tugboats were creating a large wake. Seeing an opportunity, firefighter Supek entered the 60-degree water and swam 50 feet to the now submerged victim. With another approaching tugboat, firefighter Supek grabbed the victim, and the two were pulled back to the fireboat. Firefighter Supek used his remaining strength to assist the victim onto the fireboat, suffering injuries in the process. Despite adverse conditions, firefighter Supek performed bravely, effecting a difficult rescue. For his act of bravery, we bestow him the firefighter David J. DeFranco Medal. Randolph Supek, Marine Company 6. Our next medal, the Deputy Commissioner Christine R. Godek Medal, is being awarded to Fire Marshal James Egan, Citywide North Command, and Fire Marshal Andre Ramos of the Special Operations Command. Where in the early evening hours of March 18, 2015, fire units responded to Atlantic Avenue and 90th Street in the Woodhaven section of Queens. Fire engulfed 8 private dwellings, injuring 13 people and requiring a 4th alarm assignment to bring under control. The Bureau of Fire Investigation responded with Fire Marshal Michael Egan, the primary investigator. Fire Marshal Egan conducted a challenging forensic examination of the fire scene that uncovered significant evidence leading to a determination that the fire was a result of arson. The occupants were also targeted due to an ongoing dispute. A manhunt was now on for the suspect. The Bureau of Fire Investigation senior bilingual investigator, firefighter Ramos, was assigned to the apprehension team. He began a multi-layered investigation centered on motive, witness development, and creative methods of developing sources of information. Within 24 hours, the location of the suspect was determined and a tactical perimeter established. The suspect was captured without incident. The 2 fire marshals continued to develop powerful prosecutorial evidence, resulting in a successful indictment and conviction. Committed to excellence, Fire Marshals Egan and Ramos demonstrated the skill and resourcefulness found only in the most dedicated law enforcement professionals. And we proudly bestow the Deputy Commissioner Christine R. Godek Medal upon them. Fire Marshal James Egan, Citywide North Command. Fire Marshal Andre Ramos, the Special Operations Command. Job well done. Our next medals being the firefighter Kevin C. Kane Medal, being awarded to Lieutenant Anthony Pasquin, Hook and Ladder 2, Midtown High Rise. We're on the morning of October 6, 2015. 2 truck responded to a reported person under a train at Lexington Avenue and East 51st Street in Midtown. Arriving in 2 minutes, they made their way to the downtown platform where they observed 2 cars at a 6th line in the station with a crowd gathering. Lieutenant Pasquin ordered power to be removed and began deploying his members. As he heard a woman under the train screaming for help, Lieutenant Pasquin knew time was of the essence. He lowered himself between the first 2 cars and located the woman. Coordinating his actions with Engine 8, he began to move her along the track bed and out from under the train. Members of Engine 8 and Ladder 2 then lifted her onto the platform and began first aid. Lieutenant Pasquin's quick action saved a life, and we proudly award him the firefighter Kevin C. Kane Medal. Lieutenant Anthony Pasquin, Hook and Ladder 2, Engine 8, Battalion 2, Midtown High Rise. Our next medal, the Captain John J. Drennan Memorial Medal, being awarded to firefighter Kenneth Mealy, Engine 69, the Harlem Hilton, detailed to the Marine Battalion. We're on the evening of September 8th. The Marine Battalion was returning to quarters when a call came over for a man in the water on the East River south of the Williamsburg Bridge. As the Marine Battalion approached the location, a crowd was gathered along the shoreline. Scanning the seawall, they observed a young man fighting the current in the water. Firefighter Mealy threw the man a life ring, but he couldn't hold on. Firefighter Mealy jumped into the turbulent water and swam towards the victim. Reaching the man, Firefighter Mealy fought the current, pulling the victim from below the water's surface. Firefighter Mealy then swam back to the life ring, where they were pulled back to the fireboat by Lieutenant Nick Malta and Battalion Chief David Bell. For his display of bravery in saving a life, we award the Captain John J. Drennan Medal to firefighter Kenneth Mealy, working in Marine Battalion, assigned to Engine 69. Engine 69, Hook and Ladder 28, Battalion 1-6. That's your Harlem Hilton. Let's hear it again for the Harlem Hilton. 69, 28, and the 16th Battalion. Our next medal is the Jack Pinchik Medal, being awarded to EMT paramedic Joseph Udak, again, Station 4, the Lower East Side. We're on the afternoon of August 17, 2015. A call came over to the department radio of a woman in the Hudson River at Late Street in Lower Manhattan. Arriving first, EMT paramedic Udak spotted the woman floating face down in the water. Jumping 10 feet off the pier, he swam to the victim and began CPR in the water. As he continued his resuscitative efforts, he was met by a firefighter who assisted in pulling him to shore. Once back at the pier, the victim was put in a Stokes basket where paramedics Udak and O'Shaughnessy continued BLS and ALS interventions. The victim was then transported to a local hospital. For his selfless and heroic act, we proudly award the Jack Pinchik Medal to paramedic Joseph Udak, Station 4. This is Joe's second medal today. Joe Udak, Station 4, the Lower East Side. The good news, we're down to the last 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lieutenant James Curran New York Firefighters Burn Center Foundation Medal, this year being awarded to our Corona Tigers, Engine Company 289, Captain Thomas Sussman. Firefighters Dennis Dermody, David Eckharts, Daniel Gunther, and Christopher Rodriguez. In the early morning hours of March 5, 2015, 289 responded to an EMS run at the 103rd Street station of the 7 train in Corona, Queens. On arrival, our members were told that a civilian was hit by a train and killed. Captain Sussman had his chauffeur, firefighter Eckharts, transmit the box and request power off to the elevated train line. He then instructed firefighters Gunther and Rodriguez to search the gap between the platform and the train car. He also ordered firefighter Dermody to use his flashlight and search the underside of the car at street level. Firefighter Dermody located the victim and gave the captain the exact location. Captain Sussman then entered the track area and checked the victim's vital signs. He was alive but critically injured. Firefighter Gunther joined his captain and controlled the bleeding. Now working in a confined space, the members of 289 freed the victim's clothes that were pinned under the train wheels and administered critical first aid. They stabilized, extricated, and removed the man to the safety of the subway car without specialized equipment or additional staffing. Courage, bravery, and teamwork described the actions of Engine 289 at this difficult operation. And we are proud to award them the James Curran New York Firefighters Burn Center Foundation Medal. Again, that's Engine 289. Captain Tom Sussman, firefighters Dennis Dermody, David Eckharts, Danny Gunther, Chris Rodriguez. Those are your Corona Tigers. Let's hear it. Where's this stuff from? One and two ends up here. 3 in the back. Gunther? Who? Let's hear it for this Corona Tiger. I think we have a Corona Tiger on the way. Our next medal, the firefighter Thomas R. L. Sassa Memorial Medal, this year being awarded to Rescue Company Number 1, Captain James Kielsing, firefighter James Cahill, firefighter Michael Chaffee, firefighter Dean Favarullo, firefighter Francis Rush. I'm missing a firefighter. Timmy? And firefighter Timothy O'Neill. We're on the morning of October 30th, 2015. Rescue Company 1 was directed to respond to reported building collapse on West 38th Street in Midtown Manhattan. On arrival, the collapse was confirmed with a trapped construction worker. Captain Kielsing made his way to the trapped worker, determining that the area around him was quite unstable. Extensive shoring, tunneling, and cutting would be required. Captain Kielsing and firefighter Chaffee began tunneling operations on either side of the victim, allowing him to breathe easier. At the same time, firefighters Rush and Favarullo gave directions to Rescue Collapse Unit 1, set up operations in front of the building, and set up a cutting station to facilitate shoring operations. Firefighter O'Neill and Cahill began to shore up the area in front of the victim. As operations progressed, members installed plywood to protect the victim and themselves as debris steadily rained down on them. Operations continued with Rescue 1 members performing multiple simultaneous tasks. At one point, webbing was secured to the victim so he could be maneuvered from the tight, cramped area. After more than 3 hours of operating, the victim was freed, placed on a backboard, and removed from the building. The members of Rescue Company 1 operated in a dangerous, precarious building collapse with a threat of secondary collapses. Through teamwork, cooperation, and extensive training, the members effected this rescue. For their outstanding actions, we award them the Thomas R. El Sassa Memorial Medal. Rescue Company Number 1, Captain Jimmy Kielsing, firefighter James Cahill, firefighter Timothy O'Neill, firefighter Mike Chaffee, firefighter Francis Rush III, and firefighter Dean Favarullo. Great job, Rescue Company 1. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, Rescue Company 1, the El Sassa Medal, Jimmy Kielsling, Jimmy Cahill, Mike Chaffee, Dean Favarullo, Francis Rush, Timmy O'Neill. Great job, Rescue. Ladies and gentlemen, our final medal. It's going to be the World Trade Center Memorial Medal. This year being awarded to Hook and Ladder Company 19 truck. Lieutenant Daniel O'Keefe, firefighter Kevin Donovan, firefighter Scott Cratchell, firefighter Brian Moore, firefighter Paul Samuelson, firefighter William Willits, 19 truck. Where on the afternoon of February 17, 2015, 19 truck responded to an apartment fire on Webster Avenue in the Claremont section of the Bronx. On arrival, heavy smoke was pushing from 2 windows on the 13th floor of this fireproof multiple dwelling. There was also a heavy police presence on the 13th floor. Lieutenant O'Keefe found 10 police officers with their guns drawn in a confrontation. He was also informed that there was an emotionally disturbed person in the fire apartment with possible hostages. At this time, firefighter Donovan reported fire out 2 windows with a victim hanging out another window. Lieutenant O'Keefe ordered firefighters Moore and Samuelson to prepare for a roof rope rescue from the apartment above the fire. As conditions worsened, firefighter Cratchell forced an adjoining apartment door on the fire floor as a point of refuge should gunfire erupt. A decision was made to force the fire apartment door. With fire extending down the main hallway, Hook and Ladder 19 began their search. Firefighter Willits found an unconscious victim who had been stabbed several times. With firefighter Cratchell, the victim was quickly removed from the apartment. The team then re-entered and came upon the assailant. After a violent struggle, our members subdued him and brought him out to awaiting PD personnel. At the same time, Engine 46 pushed in to extinguish a rapidly extending fire. At this operation, Ladder 19 operated as a cohesive unit under extremely adverse conditions, dependent on teamwork and cooperation. We're proudly to bestow upon them the World Trade Center Memorial Medal. Hook and Ladder 19, Engine 50, the 26th Battalion, where nobody's perfect. It's all about you two. All about them. Cap off. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, the World Trade Center Memorial Medal, Hook and Ladder 19. Washington Avenue, Engine 50, the 26th Battalion, nobody's perfect. Lieutenant Daniel O'Keefe, Fireman Kevin Donovan, Scott Cratchell, Brian Moore, Paul Samuelson, William Willits. And while we're at it, why don't we hear it for all our medal winners? Let's give them a round of applause, all our medal winners. Will everyone please rise for the benediction by FDNY Chaplain Monsignor John Delendick.
Heavenly Father, we've gathered here today to honor and thank these members of our department who have taken the oath to protect the lives and property of the people of the city. But today I'll be honored because they took a step further than that oath. We thank them for their courage. We thank them for their generosity. We thank them for their selflessness. We thank them for being an example to all of us. Give them your blessing and your assurance that you'll be continue to be with them always as they do your work in the city. We ask you too to bless the leadership of this department. Our Mayor, Bill de Blasio, our Commissioner, Dan Nigro, our Chief of Department, James Leonard, and all those who lead the members of this department. Help them to lead with wisdom, authority, and with compassion. We pray for those in this department who are sick, especially those who are feeling the effects of the World Trade Center and are ill because of that terrorist attack. We pray for all the members of our department today. Lead them and guide them safely home to their families tonight. As always, we ask this as your loving children. Amen.
Thank you, Monsignor Delendick. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mayor de Blasio, Fire Commissioner Nigro, Chief of Department Leonard, and other members of the executive staff, thank you for joining us at today's Medal Day ceremony. Before we end, we would like to take a group photo of the medalists with Mayor de Blasio, Fire Commissioner Nigro, and Chief of Department Leonard. Medalists, please rise and remain at your seats while the Fire Department photographer organizes the photo. And ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you at the parties.